Hi, today in the session we will cover the new feature available in Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2013 Unicode. My name is Arvind Kumar. I am Senior Support Engineer working in Dynamics NAV support team. The agenda of this session is to discuss about what Unicode is and how it is implemented in NAV 2013. Overview of Unicode. Unicode is a computing industry standard for the consistent encoding, representation, and handling of text expressed in most of the world's writing system. Latest version of Unicode consists of a repertoire of more than 110,000 characters covering almost 100 scripts. The most recent version is Unicode 6.1. Normally, for each character, 1 byte is used, but in case of Unicode, each character is stored in 2 bytes so that all the characters from all possible languages can be stored. There are different scenarios between client and server when they have different character sets and different configurations. This table covers different scenarios and how this works in different ways. When a server is Unicode enabled and client is Unicode enabled, this is the best possible scenario, and this scenario provides the best performance and protection from corruption of retrieving data. And this is the situation with ActiveX ADO data objects and OLEDB ODBC version or later versions. The second scenario when server is Unicode and client is non-Unicode. In this scenario, when the server is running a newer operating system and client is running an older version of SQL or older operating system, there are some limitations or errors when we move data to client computer. Unicode data on the server will try to map to a corresponding code page on non-Unicode client to convert the data. When server is non-Unicode and client is Unicode, this is not a good configuration for using multilingual data. You cannot write Unicode data to non-Unicode server. In this case, problems are most likely to occur when data is sent to servers that are outside of a server code page. When both the server and client are non-Unicode enabled, this is very limited scenario for using multi-language data. In this case, you can use only single code page both on the server side and the client side. Unicode data, what it is actually and how it is working on the default SQL server. By default, data in the SQL server is Unicode enabled when it is installed or upgraded. Unicode data type store character data using 2 bytes of each character rather than the 1 byte, which is the normal non-Unicode character set. There are 65,000 different bit patterns in 2 bytes, so a Unicode can use standard set of bit patterns to encode each character in almost all the languages available in the world. In SQL Server, data types that support Unicode data are normally if we use nchar, nvarchar, nvarchar max, which is available starting from SQL 2005, and ntext. When considering on Unicode data, there are few features, few things to think of, which is a column size. Unicode data types store each character with 2 bytes instead of 1 byte. Hence, SQL Server column limit is 8000 bytes for non-Unicode and Unicode column. The maximum size of Unicode column is thus 4000 characters since each character takes 2 bytes. Another thing to care about is disk space. SQL Server uses single byte of storing character in a non-Unicode character page. That's non-DBCCS double byte character sets and 2 bytes of Asian languages that use double byte character set. For Unicode data, SQL Server uses 2 bytes of each character depending on the amount of character data and character-based indexes in the database. The size of the database could increase significantly when we move a non-Unicode database to a Unicode database. So sufficient disk space should be planned for the migration. NAV 2013 and Unicode. How NAV 2013 works and it is enabled for Unicode feature. By default, data in SQL Server is Unicode enabled when the SQL Server is installed or upgraded. Users are able to input and retrieve Unicode data through all clients using Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2013. It allows through any object type and any interface API to manage and handle Unicode data. In NAV 2013, you can insert Unicode data, retrieve Unicode data, but the caption in the application itself is not yet Unicode enabled. In the installation and configuration, there has been no changes for the installer. So there is nothing to consider about when we are installing Unicode, when we are installing NAV and when we need to think about Unicode feature. NAV 2013 and Unicode. Character data type in NAV are enabled for Unicode, which are text and code. NAV has basically 2 data types which are used for character handling, which is text and code data types, and these 2 data types are enabled for Unicode. There are though some situations when existing customers are using a new version of NAV or upgrading from earlier version to NAV 2013, or the new customers which are directly coming on NAV 2013. In case of new customer who are using NAV 2013, these customers are already Unicode enabled. But the customers who are upgrading from earlier version of NAV, they have to be first Unicode enabled and then use NAV 2013. Through this way, a technical upgrade is strictly not supported and not possible. And database has to be first upgraded for Unicode and then upgraded to NAV 2013, and the upgrade toolkit provides these features. What are the benefits of Unicode? Allows multiple language data using any or all languages that you want. With this way, we can enhance NAV to any language which we want to work with. It can be used with any client using Microsoft Dynamics NAV. And it can be used with any API using Microsoft Dynamics NAV. Using any Unicode, it has wider global reach by using Unicode enabled data in the database. And for using Unicode, there is no license and pricing changes are required for this feature, as it will be available to all the customers as part of the base application. Let's have a look how a Unicode feature is enabled in NAV and how NAV works with the Unicode data. We have installed NAV 2013, which is currently in the beta, and starting the Windows client, which is the previously role teller client. Using Unicode, the feature is enabled that we can enter any Unicode data in database and retrieve the NAV data, Unicode data out of the database. As we see here, I have already created some set of the data using Unicode language, different language. For showing this demo, let's have an existing example using customer, and if we see here, we have created one customer based in China in Chinese language. A client based in China enters the Unicode data in Chinese language, and this is allowed in Windows client. If we try to edit, we can edit this and we can close, and accordingly the changes are reflected here in the customer list page. We can handle with multiple different languages and use in NAV database. If we take an example, we can also import and export the data, and which is also Unicode. So we can export Unicode data, we can insert Unicode data. For an example, I have created a XML port which is based on the customer table, and I'm exporting this customer data which we have created and exporting all of few of these columns which we have used to show the Unicode data. If I run this XML port, which looks like this, and if we use the export, and we can add a filter out of this, and we can use the number between the range which we have created. Let's take till here, so it will export those customer, and I'll save this data as XML type on my desktop. So this XML is actually created, we see here in the browser when I double click on the unicode.xml file, and it looks like this. We can however edit this file, and we can add new customer by putting some new values. So if I just change the ID from 120, I can use 130, I can use 140, I can use 150, 60, 70, and 180. I save this and I rerun the XML port using import function. I'm just importing the data, and only for this I click run. It will ask me the location, so I just use all files Unicode. So I will import this data, and we see now here, and it is created. Now if we run a report should also display me Unicode data. So if I run the customer list report, and running this customer report, I have a filter which will show me only those customers which we have created, and I click preview. Here we'll see the report also shows me correct data using the Unicode way. And with this way, we can say that how NAV 2013 works with Unicode data. And this covers the whole part of this session. Thank you for your time.